Welcome to the Honest Dog Breeder Podcast with me, your host, Julie Swan, where each week we dive in to discuss all things dog breeding so you can build a breeding business you love, producing dogs that fulfill their owners' dreams. I believe you can have an honest dog breeding program that also pays the bills. So throw those pods in your ears while you're cleaning kennels. I'd love to join you. Welcome back to 12 Days of Breeders. Today we have Megan Smith of Acadia Goldendoodles, and you are right outside Acadia National Park in Maine. Megan, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thanks for having me, Julie. I'm a big fan of the podcast and your products.
Thanks. You've been so helpful in the development of the dewormer, but we'll get into that later. So tell us your story. Very exciting. How did you get into breeding?
Well, I wanted to breed pretty much since I knew breeding was a thing. Like as soon as I was a little kid and I realized, oh, people are making these puppies that you can buy, I wanted to do that. You know, I've always loved dogs. So I guess I'd put myself at about 8 years old back then. But I didn't want to do it because of Bob Barker and the spay neuter campaign and all the unwanted pets in shelters. So I felt like if I really loved dogs, I couldn't do that. I had to get, I know. So 30 years later, I finally took the plunge. I think things were getting better, but I also then understood, like I had my own family. And then I understood that people need a good family dog. And a lot of times you can get a rescue that's a great family dog, but not always. And,
right. It is unpredictable.
Yeah. And a lot of my customers now come to me and they've always had rescue dogs. And then they decide to get one from a breeder because they have little kids.
Yeah, I think that's very common. I always tell people, I don't think my buyers would go to a shelter to get a dog if they couldn't buy it for me. They just wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hopefully there's room for both, but.
Right. And you've been breeding for how long?
17 years.
17 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't seem that long, but
flies by when you're having fun, right?
Yeah. And I had been teaching. I taught in the public high school for 28 years. And I built my breeding program, gradually as I was doing that. And I just found, here I was a teacher with 2 kids. They were going to need to go to college. I had a big piece of property, which I love. I mean, we're on the coast of Maine here. It's gorgeous, but the property taxes were going up and trying to figure out how to do that. And also I wanted more dogs. I wanted a great family dog. I had 2 rescues at that point. And my kids want a dog they could like roll around on the floor with and cuddle.
Yeah. And that wasn't what happening with your rescue dogs.
No,
it happens. Yeah. Yeah. You either have like a story of you love your rescue dog or it was a nightmare. There's rarely like a middle ground.
We could handle them, and they were fun to go out on outdoor adventures with, but not so great at cuddling. So then I just thought maybe I could figure out a way to get a great dog and have that dog or the dogs contribute somehow financially, not just be a drain. And I thought, I've always wanted to breed. Maybe I'll try it. So I just, got the best dog that I could get someone to sell me with breeding rights and took it slowly to see if I would like it. And I did tons of research, just really studied for 2 years while I got her health testing done and got her trained and everything. And then the plunge, and I did like it. And I still like it.
Yeah.
After 17 years. I'm like, so still, I think I told you this the other day, I'm just still so excited if I'm going to keep a puppy from a litter. Like I love choosing it. I love raising them. And, if I get a puppy from another breeder, I feel like a little kid, like I'm getting a new dog.
Yeah. I think that's pretty impressive because I know a lot of breeders, they breed for a while and that idea, I mean, even me last year, the idea of keeping a dog back is exhausting, right? But what do you think makes the difference for you?
I don't know. I have made a big priority after the first litter when I made some mistakes of taking care of myself. Like I do make sure I really have it set up so that I can get enough sleep. Sure, sometimes I'm whelping a litter or I have a dog that's struggling or a sick puppy or something and I get no sleep. But most of the time I really get 7 to 9 hours of solid sleep. I get exercise. I go to the doctor. I go to the acupuncturist. I eat well, get a lot of exercise. Having good facilities helps too. I fortunately have a husband who will build things for me and then if it doesn't work out that way, he'll rebuild it.
Nice. Very nice. So
We have a
when
lot
you
of space. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, sure. When you prioritized yourself, were there certain decisions that you found yourself making that made the difference? Or how did you, because I know a lot of breeders are like, oh yeah, I know I need to do that, but it's like a struggle. So, but you made it
Yeah.
happen. So
Right.
what's
Well,
different?
I'll tell you that first litter, I didn't get much sleep. I mean, because I was on edge. I wanted to take the best care of them possible. They were inside. They had no way to get out. They were waking me up early. I was staying up late. Plus, I was teaching, so
Mm.
everything that I was doing for them had to be done after school or before school.
Oh yeah.
So well, there wasn't much time for sleep. And I really didn't connect this at first to the dogs and the puppies, but I was getting so depressed. And I thought, I've got to go see a counselor. I have to go get on an antibiotic or get a vitamin B shot or whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
handling life right now.
Yeah.
And the puppies went home. I got a good night's sleep and I was fine. I'm like, oh, that wasn't depression. That was sleep deprivation.
Right?
you know, So, like from then on, I just really made sure sleep had to be a big priority. And
Yeah.
it is busy. Those first I try to take care of myself even while I'm doing a whelping. I take my laptop with me and watch a movie or something in between, so that I'm not panicking or bothering the mother. Or have some
Right?
really good snacks or something good to eat. You know, I just think
Yeah.
it's good to take care of yourself because you're giving so much to the dogs all the time and the puppies and just
Yeah, no, it's very true. And I do find that like I think there's like a guilt trip that goes with it when
yeah.
you say, "Oh, I'm gonna take a break or I'm gonna close my door and be done with the dogs right now." And I think it's a lot like being a parent, and you put the kid down for bed and you're like, "All right, I'm gonna go do mom things."
Yeah.
And then but then I found that when I was able to do that for myself, I became nicer. Like I was a better mom,
Yeah.
and I was a better breeder because I got some sleep, like you said, or
Yeah.
took a break. Yeah.
Yeah. And you need to do that with the customers too. I mean,
How do you?
I will get back to my customers, but
Mhm.
not always just the second they text me. And
Mhm.
I also find if they are wound up about something, they're
Yeah.
probably going to be calmer in an hour or two than they are right now. So I think it's good for
Oh.
them to have a little time too
To
after.
decompress too.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip because it is
Yeah.
true. I noticed if you wait with people,
Mhm.
they do calm down. Usually even just an hour or two. I don't like to wait a couple days. That's kind of rude.
No, I don't do
But
that.
but a
But I'm
few
not
hours.
getting back to them within seconds unless it's just, oh, look at our puppy. He's so cute. He's doing great. Or I'll be like, oh, that's awesome. But if they're struggling with something or, if their puppy's like, if it's a 911 situation, I will text right back, get the
Yeah.
puppy to the vet. But if it's like this little weird thing is happening, I'll
Yeah,
wait.
exactly. I know it's bad. Like I love, and it's terrible. I have read receipts on my
Uh-huh.
phone. I just
Oh,
think it's
yeah.
helpful for people
Mhm.
to know I've seen it or not. But
Yeah.
I love that feature on the home screen where you can read it before you actually open it.
Yes.
It helps me sort of play triage and be like, okay, that can wait a little while. Oh my gosh, this is urgent.
Yeah. And I guess because of teaching, I came to that also because couldn't, my school didn't have good reception. So I would get out of school and that's when I would get all my messages, like when I'd get off campus,
Oh,
all my
wow.
voicemails and texts and everything from the day. So a lot of times there would be a frantic something and then they're fine later, by the time
Like,
3:15
because
when I get to them.
so like you'll have a text message and then they'll have texted you 6 hours later, but they're fine now. And because you
Yeah.
didn't get it the whole day, you realized it would
Yeah.
de-escalate itself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're the second breeder I've talked to recently who had a situation where they were out of cell range and it
Yeah.
worked out better. And
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of nice. Do you find do you
Also, if their
yeah.
dog has just died, I mean, I talked to so many people who've just lost their dog and they're so upset. But sometimes they call me when they're feeling really upset, and then later they're not thinking about it when I call, so they're happier too.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah, I think it's definitely part of the business.
Yeah,
Yeah, because this we're the next step after you lose a dog, but it is
hard, and
hard.
my
I
husband's
know.
like, I don't know how you talk to people all day long who've just lost their dog. And I'm like, yeah, it is sad, and I know how sad that is from losing my own dogs, but
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about how you transitioned. So you had the one female, you were kind of like just tossing this idea around. It was kind of
Yeah.
like a dream come true that you'd always hoped for. And then the world shifted and you didn't feel that guilt from the adopt, don't shop pressure anymore,
Yeah.
which was nice.
Yeah.
And I
Uh,
think it's for our kids. And I think there's a mindset shift that happens when you become a mom that like
mhm.
opens doors to things you didn't think you could do before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my children were very helping me. I had a very active 8-year-old at the time, and he was very helpful. As long as you could direct him and
Hmm.
tell him the next thing to do and the next thing to do, he was super helpful, and a good worker.
What would you do?
Oh, water the dogs, walk the dogs. I gave him one to raise and train. Of course, the first thing he trained her to do was dig. Then he trained her to bark, and then he trained her to swim. I'm like, oh, good, a golden retriever who can dig, bark, and swim. But he spent a lot of time with her.
Mhm.
And feeding, watering, cleaning, all that stuff. Then
Wow.
later, before he finally left home, like after he was out of high school, he tiled my whole kennel for me, the walls and the floors, and yeah, so
Yeah.
he got increasingly helpful.
Yes. And you guys, I'll be putting some of the photos that Megan sent me in the show notes. You've got to see some of her facility stuff. It's just really nice. You do have tile like everywhere.
And
But
you can see in those that the tile doesn't match. I think I try to get what I can. I get the highest quality that I can afford or get a good deal on, and then just try to keep improving, make it better.
yeah, well, I think the functionality is unparalleled, which is so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, it makes a big difference. I when I started doing puppies at Bill's house instead of my own
Hmm.
house, it changed the whole
Oh,
world because there
yeah.
was like a back room with tile floor and a doggy door.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
can shut the door and this is great.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
easy to clean. Oh,
we can
that's
have.
another thing. That was a big step for me, was getting inspected,
Oh,
becoming a licensed
is
kennel.
that and tell us, is that like that's a requirement in Maine or how does that work?
It is, yeah. And
Okay.
I was really kind of pushing the limits. Like in Maine, if you have one litter, you can just get a vendor license. So then that you can advertise or sell your puppies legally, and you have to get that for each litter. You say how many
Wow.
puppies you have, and
Would that even be the case that in like an oops litter with like somebody who had two intact dogs?
Yeah, I mean, they can just sell them to their friends and everything, but if they want to advertise in any kind of publication, they're not going to let them unless they have that vendor
Wow.
license. And, if your neighbor turns you in, you should have that.
Yeah.
It's free. They'll give you a couple free a year. Then it
Hmm.
starts to be $25, and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was kind of pushing on that, like you really have more dogs than you should. The way that the law is hard to interpret because it seems like you have to have 5 breeding females, but that's not really true. That's for registering your dogs as a kennel, like in a group.
Oh,
But
okay.
it seems like you don't need a kennel license until then, but you do. So the inspector was nice and
Hmm.
firm. He looked like a police officer. He was scary, kind of, but he did explain to me that I was really a bit over the limit and I should have had my license already, but I did. He inspected the place, told me all my surfaces had to be non-porous. So that's kind of a shock if you're using wooden things or
Yeah. Well, even concrete is porous, and everybody has concrete in their kennels. I mean,
Yeah.
so did he, was
He
that?
just kept dropping water on things, saying if water can get in there, disease can get in there. And so I sealed everything. He didn't tell me what to do. I think he didn't know because then now when he comes, we've got tile, and he really likes that. And on some things, we have this vinyl plank that you use on the floors,
Yeah.
and my husband puts it on walls. He'll put plywood behind it and use that as a wall covering up to a certain
Hmm.
height, like 4 feet, so that it doesn't have to go all the way to the ceiling, just where the dogs are.
Yeah.
So the kennel inspector will see something like that and say, "Now, what is that?" And he wants to know what it is so that he can tell other breeders. So I think
That's
he
cool.
wasn't telling me because he didn't really know.
That makes sense. It sounds like he was maybe new when you got him the first time.
Yeah, and
Wait.
I have keep my paperwork organized because I know what he's going to ask me for.
Mhm.
So I've like
Okay.
my year in at the end of the year, I do my whole summary: how many litters, how many puppies, males, females, how many passed away, if any, and what was the
Mhm.
cause. Any dogs brought in from out of state. There's all these questions he asks every time. So I know that. I keep that right there for him, and that is nice. And then he
Yeah.
goes and he like looks at and talks to each one of my dogs. He really cares about the dogs. I'm
Wow.
impressed with that. And when he leaves, he always says, Thank you for taking such good care of your dogs.
Aw.
Love
Well,
that.
that's cool. Did you apply for the license then? Is that why he came out the first time?
Yes. Yeah, I put
Okay. And
state
so the
license.
inspection was just part of it. Is it an annual inspection?
Yep. Annual unannounced.
Love
Yeah.
that. So good.
Yeah. And then I had to get a resale license too, like for selling things, like a business license for the state, so I can charge
Oh, sure.
sales tax.
Hmm.
And that was really just a matter of applying.
Hmm.
And I had to go to my municipality, my town, to get I'm a mixed zone, but I had to have a permit to run a business here.
What is a mix zone?
Mixed zone, mixed business and residential. So
Oh, okay. Some are commercial lots and some
we
are.
can live here, or we can have businesses, or we can have the same thing going on. We have two businesses on
Oh,
our property. And
okay.
so I had to get yeah. So I have to also get inspected by my town for the kennel. So I have just a business license that's always okay. And then the
Hmm.
state guy comes and the town animal control officer comes to do an inspection too. He usually likes to come after the state person has been there, because I don't think he feels as confident with everything, and he wants to see what the state guy said. And then he says the same thing.
Just kind of copies it over.
He's also one of the main firefighters for our town, so he also likes
Oh,
to see that I have fire extinguishers and things around.
that's funny. Yep, I can see how that
Fireplaces.
goes. Yeah. So that's not too
One
bad.
of them likes the way I take care of my dogs, and the other one likes my fire equipment, my fire.
As long as you know what they need and you have it ready.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much been the same people over and over for you. And that's kind of the beauty of the smaller town life, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So, okay, so not too bad to manage and overall pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just try to keep building and getting better, and
Yeah.
keep the
People,
facilities going better.
yeah, in Arizona, we don't have tax on livestock, and then livestock, dogs are considered livestock. That's how the law is written. So it's kind of a weird thing. But a
Yeah.
lot of breeders do have sales tax for their dogs, or
Yeah.
um, I love how Arizona, they don't have sales tax. You have a transaction privilege, the privilege to sell things. Yeah. Um, but that's why used goods are also taxed. But for you, with the sales tax, do your buyers give you any pushback, or have you rolled it into the price, or how do you manage that?
I just have it right on the invoice as a separate line, sales
Yeah.
tax. The people who give me pushback live in New Hampshire.
Mm,
They don't have sales tax, so they don't like to pay it. So they really,
yeah.
and I've looked at this over and over again, because it seems to me like if they're sitting there in New Hampshire
Hmm.
and they're having someone pick up their puppy for them and transport it, they never
Hmm.
left New Hampshire. Why should they have to pay sales tax, right?
Yeah, right.
But the sale is happening in Maine, so
Mm.
I do have to charge it. So
I gotcha. I
if
gotcha.
they
And it
really
is
don't like
different.
it, I'll give them a discount of a couple $100s, which covers the sales tax. They still are paying sales tax, but they feel like they're not.
I get that. I
Yeah,
guess it makes sense. What's the percentage rate for sales tax there?
5.5.
Okay, so not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, not terrible. Not like Texas and they're crazy like
Yeah.
10% or whatever.
And I
Uh,
mean,
yeah.
financially, I did like, I've got, you have processing fees if you let people pay by credit card,
Yeah.
sales tax, things like that. And I like to give people discounts. So when I got sort of more professional and started adding these things on, I did just raise my prices. So now I don't feel like, oh, these processing fees are so terrible, because I know that's covered.
Yeah.
I send out a little helpful book to help people prepare for their puppies. And I just feel like that's why I raised my price up. Like all that stuff is covered. The snuggle animal, the heartbeat puppy thing. And
Yeah. Snuggle puppy. Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not using that brand anymore, but
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
it's,
Uh,
yeah, I
yeah.
don't use a brand. I just have a stuffed animal with a heartbeat in it. And
Oh, that's cool.
I
Mhm.
got the comfort animal. I sent it with the siblings and the mother. And so that's a heartbeat and the scent item. But I just like my price covers all that, so I don't have to get stressed about
Yeah.
every little thing.
I think that's so smart. And I think people just see the price and everything feels included. They feel like they got this great customer service and they got a great experience instead
Yeah,
of the nickel and diming. I think
yeah,
that's always better. I just throw in microchips because they need them. My dogs are idiots, they get out. So
we do microchips too.
easy. Yeah, it just makes it easier.
Mhm.
And for anybody out there who's struggling with the merchant service fees, and a simple formula in your head, because most are around 3%,
Mhm.
is just for every $30,000 you charge for your dog is $100 you need to raise your price. And when you think about it, it's just not that much. So if your dogs are 1,500, you need to add $50. Nobody's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's 1,550, not 1,500. Not going
Yeah,
to happen.
right.
Yeah, when people want it. But I think it feels scummy at the end and you're like, here's the fee on top of it. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I love that. I love how you just threw it all in there. That's so
Yeah.
good. All right. So, oh, you got started when you made a lot of breeding decisions. You were telling me early on that really set you up for success. Can you go through some of the mindset, some of the things that were decisions you made and how they went?
Yeah. So I think some of the things that have been most important to my program are like
Yeah.
all the research I did on dogs and puppy development.
Hmm.
So I know there are a lot of commercially available programs right now, and I think those are
Yeah,
all great. I've bought a lot of them and
sure.
incorporated them, but just basically learning about how puppies develop and how to help them be the best dog that they can be.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, I've got it all mapped out on a Google spreadsheet for my employees. It took me so long to do that, but I was glad I finally learned how to use a spreadsheet because I didn't have to do that to teach English. But
Yeah.
I do, like put in that birthday in one slot and it populates the whole thing. What day do they start their ENS? What
Oh,
day do I start adding soaked food? When do we put in the steps so they can go outside? All that's right
it's
there.
pretty fancy.
Yeah. When do they
Yeah.
start being introduced to toys? When do they go outside? All that's on there. Every deworming and everything.
Hmm.
So,
Wow, that's neat. And so when your people come in, they just look at that and say, "Oh, today, well, this is what we're doing."
and there's a place for them to initial if they've done it. So I can see at the end of the day if something didn't get done. You know,
Nice. And that's all like I got a Google sheet
it's a
spreadsheet.
Google spreadsheet. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Yeah. I
fancy.
have a place for notes. We don't usually have a lot of notes, but if especially once they start doing the training, like giving them treats, if one isn't taking a treat or if one does super well at, sitting or
Hmm.
barrier challenge or something like that, they can make notes about individual puppies for me.
Wow, that's so nice. And you just
Okay.
check that. You can check that in bed on your phone. That's so nice.
I can, but I like to check it in person because it's right by the puppies.
True.
And they're so cute. So yeah, studying puppy development, keeping my eye on quality. I don't want to be a snob because certainly everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And like the fencing we started with is not nearly the fencing that we're replacing it with. But when you have to fence in a big area, you've got to use what is cheapest and what you can use. And,
Hmm.
same with all of our facilities and everything. Even I'm just always changing, even like my deworming protocol, like so,
Yeah.
starting to use less chemicals and, I change how I do the vaccines with my dogs, whatever. So
Mhm.
being willing to change and improve. Having a lot of relationships with other breeders. I was never afraid to cold call breeders. I mean, I guess that was from teaching too, from having to call so many parents. Because I think when I was young, I was terrified to
Yeah.
call people. But once you've called 100 people to tell them their kid's in trouble or or their child is doing very well, it's just easier. So call a lot of breeders. Maybe a lot of them will be nasty, but some really like to talk, and some will give you advice. I've had a lot of advice from people, especially going out of breeding, like people 70, 80 years old.
Oh, you mean like people that are retiring from reading?
Yeah, they're getting out of it and they're happy to talk about it.
And
They have
what was,
a lot of knowledge and a lot of those old home remedies and
yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Anything that you learned from them that you could share that was just like changed everything or something that you did?
um, well, one person told me about colloidal silver, which I had
Oh,
never
okay.
heard of, and that was
And
helpful.
and when were you
Uh,
using that?
I use that if they get a cut or something, I'll put it on
Mhm.
topically, I'll give it to them orally. It's kind of like an old-fashioned antibiotic. I mean, and
Yeah.
people who are prepping for emergencies often will have that also in case they can't
Mhm.
get antibiotics. It's
That makes sense.
very
Yeah,
helpful.
it is made from electrolysis with silver. And that's
Yeah.
how you put it through the water and it gets the silver particles go in the water, which is pretty cool. My friend had this set up. But I also thought it was funny. I heard that when they talk about like rich kids were like fed in a silver spoon or whatever that phrase is.
Mhm.
it came from that because the silver that they sucked on was good for their immune system.
Oh,
Isn't that funny?
smart. They were using silver spoons because it was
Uh-huh.
helpful. Just
Yeah.
like the iron in the cast iron pans.
Yes, exactly. I'm still working on seasoning mine and it's painful, but it's
Yeah.
good.
So another thing, this might be a little controversial. This old woman told me I was just getting my own studs. I had been using stud service and I was getting my own. And she said, honey, don't train your studs. And I mean, she didn't mean don't train them, but don't overtrain them. She said, you don't want them to be push button, always looking at you for what to do. They have to follow their own instincts some. So
Oh,
she's like, train them enough that they're manageable, but let them be dogs. Don't have them just so, like, you don't want to train them like a service dog or something because then they won't go breed that female when it's time.
that's very
She's like, they
interesting.
need to keep some of that drive and some of that natural. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. 'Cause I do. I have one of the weird things I see in guardian homes sometimes is the guardian stud is like this, cute little pet all the time, sleeping on the couch, super pampered. And then he comes here and he's like, what am I doing? What do you want me to
Yeah.
do with this?
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, I did follow that and it's sort of hard, like, especially my poodle studs, they're just obsessed with me and they want to be around me all the time. But I do and I try to give them a little distance some of the time and let them be dogs.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I know, and it's harder because poodles are so human focused. Oh my God,
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
So, okay,
And
let's,
then, just having so
yeah.
relationships with breeders, but also having a good relationship with vets is important.
Mhm.
I try to have relationships with several vets, like the reproductive vet, a good hometown vet, any kind of specialists you might need, other
Yeah.
businesses in town, even. Like I have a lot of businesses that they they love that, like, we're as they see our reputation spreading, they love to
Mhm.
brag that, like, the best breeder of golden doodles is here. We met these people that came from very far away to buy a puppy from Acadia. They like to brag it up too because it seems like it makes the whole place seem better.
Yeah. Oh,
A
that's
lot of
very cool.
those,
So those are other businesses talking you up.
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And I see it on Facebook. They'll always recommend me, and it's better than having them mad about the barking or something.
Right. How did you get to that place where people were recommending you,
Just,
you know?
I try to have, I have not joined the Chamber of Commerce, but I've thought about it, and
Mhm.
I maybe will. I've been on different boards around here, like a summer camp and the town
Yeah.
committees and all that, but just got to
Is
keep
it
talking to people and cold calls again. Like I have two pet stores, the closest pet stores by that will give a 10% discount with the code Acadia 10. And
nice?
if someone gets a puppy from me and they want to stay here locally, there's a few places that will give them a discount to stay.
That's nice. So do you see joining those organizations as more of like a networking piece, or is it just something you enjoy?
I think it's networking, but I think it's hard to build relationships if you don't like that. If you're
That
not
makes sense.
friendly
Yeah.
and want to interact with people. So
Yeah. I can see that for sure.
one person who ended up breeding, I mean, she's turned into a great friend of mine, so I don't think she'd mind me mentioning this, but she was a guardian for another breeder. So that's how I knew of her. And I knew she had some fences because she had some dogs. Someone was trying to come and use one of my studs. He was coming from far away. He had to wait for his kids to get out of school. I wanted to do this before, he had to fit it between kids getting home and dinner. I
Yeah.
had things going on that night. So we're really trying to get my stud and his female together within a narrow time, but he's coming from one direction. So I just thought, well, there's that guardian home of my friends halfway in between us. So I just call her up. I've met her dog before because her daughter brought the dog over to breed one time, but I've never met her before in my life. I
Mhm.
call her up. Hey, can I have this person that you've never met and I've never met meet me at your yard with my stud and his female and do some breeding? Oh, sure, she says, because she wants to start breeding too. So she wants to watch the whole thing. So there we are. First time I ever meet her, I'm coming with my stud to have a bitch bred at her yard.
That's an interesting first meeting.
And then she did start breeding Goldens. And so we've had a good association with that. And she's come to work for me. And now she's training. So if she does board and trains, I can send my puppies to her.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that in high demand with your dogs?
Yes.
Yeah.
My puppy buyers, if they've had dogs before, they usually much more chill about it. But they're either getting a dog for the first time and they're pretty nervous and they've done a lot of research and that's how they found me, or they've had a lot of dogs over their life. This is their last dog. They want to do it right.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're very focused on getting the exact right dog
Mhm.
from the right bloodlines, from the right breeder, and getting it trained right. And all that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Can you tell us like a little bit about the evolution? Have you noticed? Well, tell us a little bit about your program. People don't know, yes, you're golden doodles, but
Mhm.
you're primarily F1s and F1bs, right?
Yes. So I
Yeah.
have most of my dogs are purebreds. So I either
Hmm.
have purebred poodles and purebred goldens. I
Hmm.
do keep some of the golden doodles
Yeah.
females to
Hmm.
in case someone wants F1b. I mean, I do get a lot of people who want F1b, and that is the half and half doodle bred back to a poodle. And
Hmm.
they'll have usually less shedding, have more of those poodle characteristics. And for
Sure.
allergies, a lot of people like that, or just they don't want shedding. They like more of the poodle personality. There's a lot of reasons.
Yeah. What do you notice with the F1bs and personality? I'm just trying to, because I know poodles are so one person focused and the goldens seem like they love everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I see a lot of variety really in the
Okay.
F1b. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do think they're smarter and a little more like a smart dog.
Hmm.
As you probably know, you work with two breeds, so you probably see
One is
different.
considerably smarter than the other, but yes. Yeah.
Yes. Smarter dogs are
Yeah.
great if you're a great trainer, and they can be great if they want to do what you want them to do. But if they don't, it can be more problematic. So,
Yeah, I do
um,
find that poodles are more, they test people more. They
yeah,
seem like they're like the Arabian horses, you know? They're like, I'll open that
exactly.
gate and walk right out. Thanks.
That's what I think about my dogs. I'm like the Goldens are the quarter horses, and the
Yes,
poodles are the
that's
Arabians.
exactly it.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And then can you explain, because I know a lot of people do multi-gen golden doodles, where what is your reasoning here? And I know like it doesn't matter, but I'm just curious, what was your
Yeah.
process through it?
I really like the idea of breeding together two dogs that are completely unrelated, like beyond the pedigree,
Yeah.
just the people call it hybrid vigor
Hmm.
of breeding those two completely different, unrelated dogs together, different breeds.
Yeah.
I know because my husband studies genetics that it's really not hybrid vigor, but it
Do you
is.
want to explain a little bit more? Because I
Yeah,
think
I will.
people really enjoy that on this show.
Okay, yeah. So as you're breeding dogs together for a breed, there is some level of inbreeding. Like you can see that in the COIs, the coefficient of inbreeding of a population just gets higher the more, closely related they are, the more they're bred
Mhm.
to dogs that are somehow related to them. Even if you don't know it, it's not on the pedigree, they're related.
Right.
That causes a depression in fitness of the group. So that's called inbreeding depression. And then it's not like, oh, there's one dog that's really inbred and it's got a problem. It's just an overall lower fitness. So lower fitness means higher susceptibility to some of those genetic disorders or just not as healthy or vigorous.
And is that because there's like they have the two alleles and they're the same. And so whatever that allele is susceptible to, they don't have anything to counter it. Is that kind of the idea?
Yes, I think
Okay.
so. Those populations that's why we see certain diseases running in one breed or another. Every breed's got their issues. And I
Yeah.
believe that's why. I'm not a geneticist, but
Yeah.
this is what I've read. This is what I understand from what I've read. Um, so I just think you could break out of that lower level of fitness by breeding two unrelated dogs.
That makes sense. And so that just keeps it, that gives you that genetic diversity you love.
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. I feel like I'm getting away. I mean, they still can get the thing with doodles and mixes is they can still get all the problems of either breed or both breeds. So you're
Sure.
kind of, you could look at it the other way too. But I do
I
think
think
they're
you can.
healthier and happier, and I love the personality mix and the consistency of the F1. So
Mhm.
they're really, I don't know, there's just things that you can count on about the F1. Then if to get to multi-gen, someday you're going to have to breed two doodles together, like two
Mhm.
F1s, and you're going to have that F2 generation. And I really don't want to do that because of F2 breakdown.
Mhm.
So that's when, I used to see it in Cocker Spaniels. You see a bunch of puppies. Some look like poodles, some look like Cocker Spaniels, and the same thing happens with the F2s. And what I
Mhm.
really don't like, I mean, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings because some people love this, and this might be someone's ideal dog, but it's not mine,
Yeah.
which would be a dog with a poodle body and a golden retriever coat. So it's thin and long-legged, but has a really
Mhm.
straight, smooth coat. Now, if that's your favorite
Oh,
dog, great. That's not what I like. I like the
okay.
stockier build. I'd rather
Mhm.
have the golden retriever body and the poodle coat if I had to choose.
I see what you're saying. And so what you like is actually, I would say that Golden Doodle multi-gens are moving away from that look, is what you're saying.
They are moving away from that look, but it's just to get there. I would have to go through some steps to get to the multi-gens
Yeah.
that I don't want to go through.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, with the F2s, you always get the dog that got double golden retriever coat, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah. There's
yeah.
just so I don't want to do that, but I do see a lot of benefits to the multi-gens. Like I
Mhm.
belong to the Golden Doodle Association, so I know a lot
Yeah.
of breeders who do multi-gens, and I think
Mhm.
they're great. And they, especially now that genetics is where it is, they can really narrow in on certain colors, coat
Yeah.
types,
Mhm.
size. They can really, I have a hard time predicting the size of my dogs. I can tell you based on past litters what I think they're going to
Mhm.
be, but for any one dog, you don't really know. And with those
Yeah.
multi-gens, they really can, they can be looking at the genetics and breeding dogs together that have the genes for the smaller
Mhm.
or the coat pattern or the coat color or the coat type. What I
Yeah.
love that people are doing is like a non-shedding coat, a nice fluffy non-shedding doodle coat that also is straight, like
Yeah.
fluffy but straight, not curly. So it's not as
Mhm.
fatty and it's got that shaggy kind of
Yeah.
cool look. It doesn't look too curly like a poodle.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. But
Yeah.
your buyers love
But
what
other
you're
people,
doing, right? Mhm.
yeah,
Oh,
other people are breeding for really curly coats, and that's good
mhm.
too, or
Yeah.
really big dogs. So I
Yeah. I
think
do think
people,
it's just it's so interesting because we have poodles and poodles can be standard or they can be toy and everything in the middle.
yeah.
And yeah, there's just so much variety. And then when you pair that and Goldens, they do range a fair amount in size too. I mean, you'll probably have some 40-pound ones, but you could have 100-pound ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine don't get that big. I use more of the English lines, the
Mhm.
European lines. And so they're a little like shorter and stouter and just not as big overall.
That's nice. Yeah.
But I like a big American lumbering golden retriever.
Nothing wrong with that.
So anyway, I've got nothing against multi-gens, and I can see in the future I might maybe buy, if I could buy some good multi-gens,
Mhm.
especially smaller to breed together, I might do that, but I just
Yeah.
haven't. And so, right, I mostly breed a certain color range, cream through red,
Mhm.
and a certain type, the F1s and the F1bs. And so people have found me because that's what's on my website and that's what's on all my testimonials. So most of the people coming to me aren't looking for a black multi-gen because if they
Yeah.
were, they wouldn't see that on my website. I wouldn't be attracted
Right.
to them. So
That makes sense. So yeah, so it actually has worked out in your marketing. It's what people are looking for is what you have, and that's how you're kind of geared,
yeah,
which makes sense. I think that's so important to differentiate yourself within a breed. And
yeah,
what's nice about Golden Doodles is there's a lot of variety to differentiate within. So
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not, those other ones are great, but that's just not what I have going on.
Yeah, no, it's totally good. Do you end up breeding for yourself, like a poodles to keep your poodle lines or your Goldens? Do you do that?
I do that mostly with Goldens.
Hmm.
I try to bring in outside males and then I breed that male and keep puppies for a few years
Hmm.
until most of my females are his daughters. And then I get a new male. Right now,
Hmm.
I'm looking for a new male, but I know what I want and it's not born yet. So it's not even bred yet. I'm working with another breeder to breed the new stud that I want.
That's
Um, and I have done one litter of poodles, but it was during that time when the market was really in a slump.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
not only hard to sell dogs, but it was hard for me to sell those poodles because people aren't thinking of me with poodles.
It's always that's the
Yeah.
rub when it's like just switch of breeds. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Golden
Very much so.
retrievers I can sell because I just put pictures of them up and people tell their friends and
And then it's good. Yeah.
yeah.
It is interesting because people who buy a golden doodle tend to want a version of a golden retriever, but rarely do they get a golden doodle because they want a version of a poodle.
Exactly.
It's just a weird,
Poodle, people who want a version of a poodle can just get a poodle.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, It is, that is true. I have talked to a lot of people about what they want. And
Mhm.
one day I came to the conclusion that the perfect dog for all these people who call me, not everybody, but is a 20-pound golden retriever that doesn't shed.
Right?
They want a golden retriever like they had when they were a kid, but they want it to be about this big and they don't want hair all over their house.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Because they remember the tumbles down the hallway.
yeah,
Yep. All the
yeah.
hair. Oh yeah.
But I can't get there yet.
It's all good. I know. It's gotta be work. Is it do you use toy poodle studs at all?
Yeah, I have just started. Well, he's not toy. My newest poodle stud is half mini and half toy. His mom's a mini, his dad's a toy, but
Mhm.
he's 9 pounds, so he's pretty
He's
small.
little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has to
Oh.
live in the house. He
Yeah.
has, there's a couple dogs he can live with, and he always helps me raise a new puppy because they'll be about the same
Oh.
size as
Yeah. Yeah. My rat terrier stud's pretty handy with my little GSP pup. So there's that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man, that's
But
great.
yeah, he hasn't done any natural ties yet. It's all been artificial with him. So
That makes sense. Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot to figure out.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's a big woman who's intimidating, I imagine, for him. All right. Tell us a little bit too about, can you give us a little bit more about how you set up your facilities? Because you really did a nice job. And I know you had this mindset, which is, I always talk about the good, better, best model, which is like
Mhm.
we start with something and then when it's, we can improve it when we
Yeah.
realize we need something more or better or whatever, or the money finally comes in. So can
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about how that all went down? Because you're like, you guys should see these pictures because it's like she has a camp, like a summer camp for dogs, is basically what it looks like to me when I'm looking at these pictures.
So we took it's about an acre right out in back of our house. So it's attached to the house. The dogs from the house could get out, and the dogs from the kennel, which is also attached to the house, can get
Mhm.
out there. And we fenced it in with one big fence. My husband built it with wood, and then we lined it with like welded wire off a roll.
Mhm.
And so that's divided into 4 sections so that we can keep dogs separate, but they can see each other and run around in the woods and all that. It's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, over the years, we discovered, and we did have one little accidental pregnancy. Luckily, it was 2 dogs. It was okay for them both to breed. They were healthy. It's just that we weren't expecting it
Fair.
because of digging under the fence. So now every time we put down a new fence, we have fencing on the ground that goes about 2 to 3 feet on either side of the fence. The fence goes
Mhm.
on top of that, and then dirt goes on top. So if
You
the
actually
dog,
like take a roll of fencing and you lay it onto the ground so
yeah,
that they can't dig through. That makes sense.
yeah, my husband calls it anti-dig. And so
Mhm.
they dig and then they're just still fenced in. They can't, they're always digging at the edge of the fence, trying to go under there. They just get to a fence and then we keep filling in the holes,
Yep.
you know, constantly. So
Yeah.
we also, having females coming into heat near each other can get a little tense, especially when they're all coming in together.
Mhm.
Having the males around each other, if they can see each other sometimes they're great friends, other times
Yeah.
not so much. So we decided to build a little, we call them canine cabins.
Yeah.
It really could be a cabin for people if we wanted to have a campground or something instead. They're about the right
Mhm.
size for that. But we have to go on a little walk. Like I walk down one trail, take a turn, walk down another trail. So they're in the woods.
Mhm.
And I gave them fancy little names as if it were a campground. One's Riverside because it's by a creek.
Mhm.
And so it holds 4 dogs. And so 2 dogs go on one side and 2 dogs go on the other. It's split inside in the middle so the dogs can't see each other.
Mhm.
And they each go out to the outside of the building. So they're together inside, outside. They have separate yards where they also can't see or get to each other. And
Mhm.
if they share a fence, it's doubled. Like there's a fence on each side and some barrier in between, like wood or something, so they can't see each other out there either.
Okay.
So we put a male. We have 2 of those little buildings. The other one
Mhm.
is called Lakeview because it's down by our pond.
Fancy. Yeah.
Yes. um, so yeah, 2 of those. So I can have 4 studs all
Mhm.
separate, and they can't. I'm sure they know each other are there, but they can't
Mhm.
see each other, or get aggravated with each other. Each can
Yeah.
have a female in with it. Now, sometimes I don't have them all there. Sometimes they'll be up with the other dogs or something,
Mhm.
depending on who everybody is, getting along with. And I might have
Great.
2 females down there. Um,
Yeah. I think
it's
it,
just it's nice to have a little separation.
So they have like their own house,
Yeah.
basically. Like
Mhm.
it's nice. They've got an indoor area, they've got an outdoor area. In my head, when you first described this to me, I
Yeah.
pictured like the campfire and the little chair, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's a perfect
I,
little campsite.
I sent you pictures and you can see the
Yeah.
doors don't match. The door is a full glass door, so it gives a lot of light. It's very nice, but it was off the side of the road. It was a roadside pickup.
I just think it's like that's
Yeah.
like all the rage these days, like
Yeah.
finding it and whatever they call it.
Salvaged materials. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Repurposed.
That's
Yeah.
it, repurposed.
Yeah. So I keep their food down there. I have hoses 3 seasons. It freezes here pretty well in the winter. So in the winter, I haul the water. We either haul water out there that's warm or take the buckets in and change them and bring
Mhm.
them back. We have a little propane heater for each one for the winter.
Nice.
I don't keep it too warm though, because then the dogs don't like it.
Yeah, isn't it funny how like yeah, what we would want is like too much,
Yeah.
They're like, no, 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 I'll just go outside.
Yeah.
So how cold does it get where you are?
Um, well, I would say it's very frequently in the 20-degree range. It does get down below zero. I've had it down like 10 below.
Wow.
Just doesn't stay there that long. I would
Well, that's
say
nice.
it's in the teens and 20s usually. Some days gets up to 40 sometimes, even on a cold winter day, but
Hmm.
depends on how sunny it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
Yeah.
so do
But
you
if
have
it gets down, like, yeah, if it starts to get down between if it's in the teens or 10 degrees,
Mhm.
even if I have the heaters in there, I usually bring the dogs up to the house.
Oh,
Because I
okay.
just like, I don't want the heater to go out in the middle of the night or something and I
And
don't
not
know about it.
know.
They're too far away. I mean, they probably would survive, but I just, we bring them up, put them in crates for the night or double everybody up or something.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's really good. So you mostly use propane heaters to keep them warm down there. What about your other stuff? Do you have to heat that or is it warm from the
Yeah, we do a lot. We have 35 acres here and there's a lot of blowdown. My husband just chainsaws it up and we have a wood
What is blow down?
blow down when the trees blow down. The trees blow
Like
over in the storms.
oh,
There's a
like
lot
the
of
like a whole
wood.
tree has fallen.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I've never heard that term.
we're in the woods.
Yeah.
So yeah, he goes out there with a chainsaw and chainsaws it up and
Yeah.
splits it on the wood splitter. And that's what he says. Wood, it warms you 3 times. It warms you when you cut it, it warms you when you
Yeah.
split it, it warms you when you burn it. Um,
That's
yeah,
good.
so we have a big wood stove in our garage, and it's got a furnace on top of it that blows hot air into the kennel and into his wood shop and our garage.
Oh, that's so nice.
Keep it warm that way. And it comes into my office too, but I also have a space heater in my office because I get a little chilly.
I get that. Yeah, I know. I'm like, I have the mini split here and I just set it however I want it when my husband's at work.
Yeah, I could probably make good use of about 4 or 5 mini
Yeah.
splits.
Yeah. They're fun.
But
Yeah.
electricity is super expensive in Maine.
Is it?
Yeah, it's so we try to, we're working on getting a big solar array,
Oh, that's nice.
a generator. Power goes out a
Mhm.
lot here too. Yeah, it's rural living.
Yeah, right. No, I get it. I mean, solar panels are all the rage in Arizona, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, being so rural, I know that you said you tried guardian homes in the past, but that maybe wasn't the best experience. Could you share a little bit about how that went and what your take is
Yeah.
on now?
Yeah, I didn't love it. I I did it before I had so many facilities built here.
Sure.
And let's see, the first one I did, I sort of got guilted into it because I was keeping a female back, but
Hmm.
this family really wanted a dog so badly, and I felt like bad. I didn't have one to sell them. I
Hmm.
talked to them about being a guardian. They loved that idea, So I thought, oh, great, I'm going to have this good, relationship with this family. And a great place for the dog.
Yeah.
All the good things about guardian homes that you have in your
Right.
dream, your fantasy of a guardian home. Yeah, she stole my dog.
Just
So
straight up just took
yeah,
her.
she ghosted me completely. Uh, I couldn't find out where she was. Luckily, I did sort of know who her father was, and I called him a little while later, and he didn't know this whole situation. It was her and her mother that had made these deals, signed the guardian contract, and everything with me. So
Wow.
yeah, I did get a hold of her through finding out where she worked from her father. And then she was very upset. She didn't want the dog bred because she was afraid of like the problems that could happen in a pregnancy or a birth. So
Mhm.
that's understandable. Don't buy
Yeah.
a dog on a guardian contract if you don't want it bred.
Right.
So, anyway, her boyfriend gave me some extra financial compensation and asked me to leave them alone. And I thought, really, I don't want to fight it. The dog has a good home. I don't know if she would have passed all her health testing and been a great mother or not. It was kind of at that point when you just have a few dogs, you're putting so much hope and dreams into each dog that was hard at the time. But now,
Hmm.
okay, like, if one doesn't pass the health testing, it's just so rough when you only have a few. But
Yeah, that makes
that was
sense.
a hard pill to swallow. It turned me off of guardian homes. I tried another time, and they were great. They really understood the contract, let me take the dog for all the health testing, everything. We had a great relationship, and that dog would not breed with any of my males. When I got her all health tested, she was like, "No, thank you. I am a pet." And I took
Wow.
her even to a reproductive specialist to see if there's something wrong internally, like why won't she let anyone penetrate her?
Yeah.
They did a digital exam, and she said,
Hmm.
"Nope, it's not physical, it's psychological. This dog doesn't want to breed." She did not want to be examined. They had to sedate her to do the digital exam. She would not let
Wow.
anything penetrate her.
Huh.
So now I keep my dogs out in my yard. They practice all the time with each other. All the females are always mounting each other, and they're ready when the time comes.
Yeah, I do
So,
think, that advice that breeder gave you, that sometimes you got to let them be a little bit of a dog
yeah,
it does
yeah,
make sense. Yeah. I also find too, a lot of breeders, we feel this drive to put dogs in guardian homes to give them pet life, but a lot of times we're only dogs over there. And,
yeah,
and while that sounds great because they get attention, I think in a lot of ways they think they're humans. They don't know that they're dogs. And
hmm,
I think dogs do really well with each other. And I always like to put them in pens with each other so they have that kind of relationship. I don't want to be their only emotional support. Yeah,
yeah.
it
Well, it
makes
probably
sense.
depends on the breed. I bet there are some breeds that don't like dogs as much, but mine do. They love being out there with each other. A stick is only so good if you have it yourself, but a stick is awesome if three other dogs want it
Yeah,
and are chasing you around for it.
very true. I just put one of those swings in my puppy pen this
Uh-huh.
past
Oh,
weekend.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was entertainment for hours. I just
Yeah.
watched them like it was a TV. Yep.
Aren't they fun? Yeah, we have a bunch of tires built into the ground and some platforms and things like that for them to just jump up on and under and things like that when they're out playing with each
Yeah,
other. And they love to dig holes, and so that's fun for them too.
they do. Yeah. That's perfect. Okay, so you didn't do guardians, but you have a pretty
Yeah.
sizable program. How
Yeah.
many dogs do you have in your program, would you say?
I would say it's always between 20 and 30
Okay.
dogs. And
Mhm.
I'm licensed for 25 breeding age dogs.
Yeah.
So when I register every year, I can keep track of how many are breeding age because I'm just registered. If they're under like a year and a half and not health tested yet, I'm
Yeah.
registering them as pets. And there's no limit on that, I guess, in my
With
town.
35 acres. No, probably
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
And then once they're retired and I'm getting ready to place them somewhere, or if I'm
Mhm.
just keeping them, then they're registered as pets. But so it's all, I've never gotten to my 25 limit. It's always been about 20 that I'm
Mhm.
registering as breeding age dogs.
That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's so okay. So by yourself, this would be like a lot, and guardian homes were not your favorite. So you ultimately hired people. I mean, your son
yeah,
probably had to leave.
my son
Unfortunately, he
left.
sounded like
Yeah,
he was quite the help. That was,
he is
yeah,
helpful. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, his father was a little frustrated with him because he would work short days, but if you get done what you need to do, I'm okay if you leave.
right. But
I
your
mean,
husband's in construction, right?
yeah,
Yeah, like that's like Bill. Bill's like,
yeah,
what do you mean you're not out there to finish the job?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
yeah, well, we were tired. We came home.
yeah, right.
So,
Yeah, so I hire help, and I've been able to get some really good help. I'm
mhm,
not always. I can do it, and sometimes I have to, but I
mhm.
have to get up in the morning and start and pretty much work all day, taking a few breaks until
Yeah.
way past dark to get everything done that I think needs to be done. And so that's just
Sure.
too much for me. So
And that's everything from puppy management to feeding and watering and cleaning
sweeping
and
things
yeah.
out and
Oh
changing
yeah.
waters and
And then whatever the puppies need
all
that
the
day.
puppy programming and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Dogs
Okay.
need attention. They need to
Yeah,
be, they get a
they need
mat
some.
behind their ear. They need their nails trimmed. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
They need to go for a
So,
walk. I forgot to say that when we
oh,
were talking about keeping
yeah.
yourself healthy, but I take my dogs on walks. That's exercise for me too. So
Oh, okay. Do you just like pick a different one every day?
yeah, or sometimes I take more than one. I don't
Mhm.
take 6 anymore because I took 6 one time. I got knocked over and broke my ankle.
Gosh.
Yeah. I'll take
Yeah.
1 to 4.
Yeah, I don't even think my feet would touch the ground if my GSPs were pulling me. So yeah. Um, well, that's
Okay,
cool.
so
So
yeah, the
yeah,
help
so
I've been able to get, we have a nearby college, so I've been able to get college students to come
that's
and
nice.
help.
This seems to be the
They're,
secret weapon is college students, but keep
yeah,
going. Yeah.
very good. I have a little girl, she's a friend of mine's daughter, and she
Mhm.
started coming over here when she was 4 years old. And they would always be with her. And then when she was like 6, they started just leaving her here with me. And now she's 15, and soon she's going to be driving. She gets right off the school bus a couple days a week and comes and feeds everyone their afternoon meal. And she's a great
Wow.
dog groomer. She's got 2 of my retired poodles, and yeah,
Wow.
awesome. That has been very good. I could tell she was the girl for the job when she was 4 because she had on these crazy little cowboy boots and she had long hair down to her butt. She's running around in the puppies. They're all hanging off of her hair and her boots, and she's just laughing. Like she couldn't have been happier to have puppies biting her hair and and climbing in her
That's
boots.
so awesome. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. And then some my vet sold his practice, and then
Mhm.
there was some transition period. So a couple of the people there who worked there now work for me
Mhm.
part-time. And, I just
Mhm.
try to find people where I can get them. And
Yeah. So when the vet retired and they were looking for a different gig, you were
yeah,
available. That's
yes, I
so
was.
nice.
Yeah. And so now, yeah, I
Mhm.
have people who can draw blood and take temperatures and listen with the stethoscope and all that.
Wow. It's such like a
I
trained set of
should be
eyes.
having them do the stool samples, shouldn't I? I shouldn't have to
Yeah,
do
you should add that in.
that.
I really need somebody to teach me how to use the microscope for that stuff. I'm so interested in it.
Do you have a microscope?
I do, but I've never successfully seen what I'm trying to see.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I got a digital one recently, and it's so much better than
Tell
the
me
print you look.
more.
It has a little screen about the size of my phone or a little bigger. That's what I'm looking at instead of sticking my eye.
Oh, that's so good because my eye gets so mad at that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a game changer.
it is. Okay, so you're using that.
Yeah.
That's cool. What did that
Yeah.
cost you? You'll have to send me the link. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked around for a long time, but it
Mhm.
wasn't like noticeably more expensive than
Oh, really?
I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can get a decent microscope somewhere like 2 to 400. Does that
Yeah.
sound somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
find it what it was and send you the link, but
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. That's
very
so cool.
handy.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
Do you do your own fecals?
I do. I also have, especially now, because so many of the vets now are sending them out. So when I could
You're
take it to
waiting
the
for
vet
them.
and they could let me know in 15 minutes or
Hmm.
half an hour what it was, fine. But if I have to wait 2 days, if there's something wrong, I should have been treating for those 2 days.
Exactly.
And it gets
Yeah.
a little tight when it's getting to be time for puppies to go home. You want to get them clear of everything.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah. Do you use that solution where you take the fecal sample and then
Yeah.
you put the solution in there, shake it up, and it separates everything?
Yeah. And there's
Mhm.
special little capsule things that you can get that have like a little filter in them for doing that. I
Oh,
forget.
okay. What does the filter do?
I think it just keeps like a lot of the fecal material out of it and helps certain stuff rise
Oh,
to
it helps like the eggs or something
yeah, it
rise.
helps the settling process.
Oh,
And then you're just taking the slide on the top of it and then you close.
that's very
No,
cool.
I'm not an expert. I just took an online class on parasites and it taught me how to do that.
Oh, and what do you see usually? What kind of stuff? I mean, if
Um,
you had it, but like what could you see in the
I
process
could
of
see
thing?
coccidia. I could
Ooh.
see giardia.
Mhm.
I could
Those are
see,
very low, or like a high magnification compared to regular worms and stuff.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I
they're
could
different.
see like if I could see like hookworm or roundworm or
Mhm.
eggs, those kind of
Yeah.
things.
Oh, that's super handy.
I've seen roundworm and coccidia and giardia. The other things I haven't seen, but I could see them.
Mhm.
Another thing I do is I do a little informal semen analysis, like
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure I've gone to the reproductive vet and
Hmm.
seen what she does, and then
Hmm.
I think she has a program where it like AI or something counts it, I think, or
Yeah.
she's got some tech counting it because she wasn't doing any counting, but she came up with a whole report. But she let me look through, so I could see like about how many are supposed, like about how dense it should be with
Yeah.
the sperm and how much they should be moving around and what they should look like. And so now I look at my
No, that's so smart.
make sure
Yeah.
there's swimmers in there.
No, it's good. Well, it's so nice to be able to rule that out too.
Yeah.
Because so many times we have fertility problems and we're thinking the female's got a problem, but it's the
Yeah.
stud. And
And the
yeah.
progesterone testing
Hmm.
is, I have to go so far. I have to go drive an hour and a half to get my dog a progesterone test. And you have to do that like every other day. And
Yeah, that's
it's
not going to work too well.
no. So what I do, if I'm going to do AI and I want to do testing ahead of time,
Hmm.
I am looking for the, what's it called? Vaginal cytology. So I'm doing a
Hmm.
swab inside
Hmm.
the vaginal canal. And
Hmm.
then I'm looking for cornification. So
Which
you
is,
dye it with blue, and then the cells just they're sort of round and
mhm.
amoeba looking, and then they start to cornify. I think it's called. I'm not sure I'm saying that right because I've been
Okay.
reading it, but
Mhm.
they get really sharp and angular.
So it goes from
So
being round to sharp and angular.
yes, and they group together more, and they look more like
Oh,
more square, triangle kind of things, and that's when ovulation is going to happen.
and is that the hormones
That's
changing the
how.
shape of everything? Is
I
that it?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
very
how
interesting.
one way to time the breeding. Yeah. And I hadn't done that I did that years ago. I hadn't done it
Mhm.
for years. I'm just going, oh, I'm an experienced breeder. We'll start on day 7 or 9. And.
Yeah.
But then I just thought, if I'm doing AI, I'm bothering to do the collection and to do the insertion and all that. I might as well do this step ahead of time to make sure I'm getting it on the right days. So I've gone
Yeah,
back
that
to
makes
it.
sense.
And I recently,
Mhm.
they did a recent webinar on it that reminded me about it on revival, animal health.
Mhm.
And so I just started it up again with my new digital microscope.
Yeah. I love it though. I think it's so helpful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know you've been helpful with the dewormer for me, like testing some things out and
Mhm.
um helping with that. So, that's been
Yeah.
huge. Hmm.
And that, I mean, just with that herbal dewormer, you can just
Hmm.
see the difference in the poop too without having to look in a microscope, just looking at it.
Yeah, that's what I just like, yeah. Oh my gosh, I know the other day I had the combination. I haven't had this in a while, but we've had such a rainy season and my, I had one puppy. He was always like a slow starter and
Mhm.
I gave him that Neopar. So his immune system dipped a little bit and then the Giardia kicked in and I was like, so I treated that and with the moom and then I noticed that it cleared up in a day, except
Mhm.
now it just looked like coccidia. So I was like, oh,
Mhm.
great. It was a combination. So yeah, and I
Yeah.
was using the herbal dewormer, but it's coming
Yeah.
together. So
Yep. Good.
yeah. So
Yeah. So anyway, I'll have to get my people from the vet's office on the microscope duty.
yes, that's so smart, right? Like yeah, get them that job for
Yeah.
sure.
It's so
Mhm.
handy to have those helpful people. One of the college students I hired
Mhm.
started grooming my dogs. I just said, could you wash this dog? It has to go to the vet. She washed it. It looked like it had come back from a groomer's. I'm like, did you also groom the dog? Do you know how to groom dogs? And she's got all embarrassed. And she's like, well, I just watched an inordinate amount of dog grooming videos when I was in middle school. Like, oh, okay.
You got like the jackpot of helpers over there.
You can keep doing that. Yeah, she trims the feet, the nails, does the inside of the ears, does a whole like
Yeah.
she does conditioning, dematting. Yeah, it's great. They look fantastic when she's done with them. And she told me one day, "Oh, my dad just gave me all of his professional photography equipment from when he used to be a photographer."
What?
So now she does. Yeah, I
Oh
normally
my
have
God.
hired professional photographers for
Yeah.
my website, and so now she does that while she's working here. So it's just her normal hourly wage.
Hmm.
But then she'll take them home and edit them. And she can edit out leashes and change lighting and all that. She's great with the editing too,
Wow.
which she learned just for this work. So that was nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then I pay her an amount per dog, like I would pay a professional photographer.
Oh, that's nice. That's like a hybrid model. Do you basically just pay everybody on an hourly wage? Is that the easiest thing to do
Yeah,
most of the time?
I do. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do like the idea of like a per job pay,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I've just got everyone on hourly payroll, and I deduct it. I formed an
Yeah.
S corp. Um,
Oh,
so
good. Nice. Nice. Yeah. I think that's my favorite business structure for sure.
yeah, I want to
Um,
be able to pay myself and my husband too.
yeah, that's so smart. And that's pretty simple. Do you use any software to facilitate that?
I do. I have a payroll service.
Oh, perfect. That's super easy.
When I became an S corp, my
Hmm.
lawyer recommended me some people like bookkeepers and
Hmm.
payroll service and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's handy.
It is. I don't think I could. I think I would really struggle with it myself. I know a lot of business people just do it on QuickBooks.
Mhm.
And my father was an accounting teacher, so you would think I would know some of that stuff. But it's so that was. I've tried so much to learn accounting, bookkeeping. I really struggle with it.
It is like annoying. It's a different way of thinking. I just use Square Payroll. It's been so easy to set everything up, but yeah,
Right.
that's just been mine. But I love it.
It's
Yeah.
expensive having all those taxes taken out, and then the part that you have to contribute
Yeah.
as an employer and all that. It's a lot.
Oh yeah. And it's a lot to calculate on your own. I think that's why I love that service because it
Yeah.
just does it all for you.
Yeah. Right. We had a
Yeah.
new thing come up in Maine. The Paid Medical Leave Act, and you have to take something else out for that. But my payroll system just like knew about it and
Yeah.
started doing it. So
That's so nice. Yeah.
yeah,
I think it is. It just makes compliance with everything so much easier when it's like you're so busy doing other things. We might as well just, yeah, say that, give that to someone else. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know who else have I had for good employees? Yeah, mostly college students, high
Mhm.
school students, and people from vets offices. That's
Yeah.
what I've been lucky enough to get.
That's super lucky. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and photographer daughters who happen to binge watch
Oh
grooming
yeah.
videos. Other than
Right.
that,
Right.
I love that. That's so good. Um, oh man. So, and then with them, is it essentially a good work ethic? Because the one thing that sucks on hourly wages is people, they worry that people will make the job take longer,
Yeah.
right? How do you work with that? Or does it?
I don't know what I would do if I had that problem. I guess I would
Mhm.
have to talk with the person. I
Mhm.
did teach, and I was a special ed teacher for a long time, so I feel pretty comfortable helping to correct behavior, but I
Mm.
have not had to yet. So
There
that's
must
what,
be something that you're doing just in presenting the work. Do you kind
maybe.
of give an expectation of what should be done in a certain amount of time or?
No, my what I have found is the people usually want to get out of here. Like they get
Oh,
here early. I've
God.
have busy mothers who are eager to get everything done before
Yes.
their kid gets out of school. So they want to
Okay.
get it all done. I think those
Mhm.
checklists help actually because
Sure.
you don't want to be leaving a lot of stuff undone on the checklist when that's your
Mhm.
job, you
Right.
know. And then we do have one list up that says remember, and it's like do the floors, empty the garbage, fold the
Mhm.
laundry, empty the dishwasher, that kind of stuff, just in case people forget.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So you have
Yeah.
like, is it about four people working with you right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's pretty good.
let's see. I've got one girl that comes in, one young woman that comes in on weekends,
Mhm.
someone else, and I have two people that alternate on the weekdays. So that's three
Mhm.
plus my high school helper. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, it is. They
Yeah.
don't stay long though. So like if I really had a long list of jobs that needed to be done, like I think it might be hard. I'd have to get a little pushy. Like I really need this done before you leave today.
Oh, that makes
They
sense.
leave early. The younger one who doesn't have kids has a horse. So she's here on the weekend, but that's also her horse time. So she wants to get out. She'll get here early enough to let the dogs out and feed them, but she wants to be out of here by noon so she can go be with
Go
her.
ride.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I
Oh,
think
yeah. Well,
that,
I understand that.
yeah, it's great that they have busy lives and they want to get to them. So I'm not paying them for 8 hours. They're just coming here, getting the most important stuff done and leaving.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. That's got its
Yeah.
drawbacks too, because their kids get sick and they can't come in, or they have a game, or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it is help. I always find it's help. I'd rather have two part-time people than one full-time person just
Yeah,
because there's always a backup.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes
And
so much
sometimes I
sense.
will hire an extra person when I don't really need them just to keep them around and, maybe have one person just come in and watch dogs one day or something.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, that's good. All right. So then you are selling a fair amount of dogs per year because with
Mhm.
employees and staff, I mean, you've got some
Yeah.
costs. So, is there any anything you could
Dogs
share
are
with your
expensive too. That's
oh,
another big
there's
cost.
yes, dog food's never cheap.
Yeah.
Um, with the but tell us about your a little bit about your marketing. How are you making that work? Because that's got to be really important.
Yeah. In the beginning, I used a lot of social media and I
Mhm.
had great results with that. Now there's just, God, I don't know how people are doing it. It is so hard to get any kind of attention. There's just so much out there. It's
Yeah.
hard to get people's attention and keep it.
Hmm.
I've, I mean, I've taken a class on filming dogs. I've taken a class on viral videos. I'm always trying to learn that stuff and keep up. But I'm 60. I'm probably not going to have to be skydiving or jumping
Yeah.
out of trees or hanging upside down. People are doing all kinds of things to get attention on social media.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
So I just try to flood my accounts with real cute puppies, and then once in a
Mhm.
while, pictures of the adults or something that we're doing.
Mhm.
But I have to say, I've had best results lately with website. Like I just really try to keep my website up to date. I do a blog. It's not really a regular blog, but anytime I think of something that people want more information on, I do a blog post about it. And then I link to that in my website so
Yeah.
they can find that information if they want it. It's hard. You got to keep things simple so that it's not too complicated for people to read at a glance, but
Yeah.
then have backup information for them if they want it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, so it's like that balance. So I always feel like it's you build the FAQs and that gives them the short and sweet what they need to know. And then
Yeah.
the blog post if they want to learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people can get a lot from an infographic, and feel
Ooh,
like they
uh-huh.
really understand it, an infographic or something with pictures and just a short bit of information. But then it is nice for them to have somewhere to go if they
Hmm.
want more information.
Yeah, I always think it's a balance because like we kind of nerd out on the science sometimes, but
Yeah.
like not all of our buyers are like, okay, I don't need to know every detail about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I just had a text this morning from a guy, he's a cancer researcher and he's a geneticist. And he's like, I really appreciate your understanding and the way you work with the genetics. Good.
Wow. That's really cool.
Gonna come from California to Maine to get a puppy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's,
that's cool.
people are looking for certain things. And so it's good to have that there if they want it, but not
Mm.
to be overwhelming everybody with it.
Yeah. No, that makes
Just
a lot of
right.
sense. Hmm.
So yeah, I used to in the beginning I made a lot of mistakes, I would say, with my website. People still liked it, but I always thought it was like redecorating. I don't know, like it's spring, let's do lavender background on
Yeah,
everything. And I guess that was good because it kept updating my website, which is good for
sure.
search
Yeah.
engine optimization. But and I thought it's all new people anyway looking at it, but it's not. Some people are looking at the website for 2 or 3 years before they finally buy a dog,
It's true. Yeah.
So now I have a trustworthy blue, a
It's a
little
very pretty blue. Hmm.
a little to the green side of blue, almost teal, but not
Yeah.
quite.
Yeah.
Um, and I keep that and change out the photographs and the pictures, and I have a logo, which I like, but I may get a different. It's not a logo that's easily stitched. Like if I want it on clothing or something,
Hmm.
I need to have it printed because it's very complicated with a lot of colors and everything. So
Oh, I gotcha. You're
I
looking
may
for maybe
do
maybe a more line art. Yeah.
yeah, I may do a line art version at some point because that's nice to have clothing and swag, all that.
It is fun, or even something that you can like engrave on a notebook or something, you know. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But I like the logo for the most
Mhm.
part. It's got a little bit of Acadia National Park in it and a golden doodle and
Yeah.
the
It's
word.
such a unique location. Yeah.
Yeah, and I try to put that logo on everything. I mean, it might seem a little overdone, even like the bag, the paper bag that they. I'm also really focused on trying like to not have plastics, so like to
Mhm.
be environmentally conscious. So
Sure.
they take home their puppy stuff in a paper bag, but it's got a sticker of my logo. Then they pull out their paper folder. It's got a sticker of the logo. All the pages in there, like the medical record and the description of our program, the
Mhm.
puppy socialization checklist. Everything I have in the folder has our logo on it. And
Yeah. And I do. I think the branded stuff makes it feel like more professional and it's more of an experience. And then I love it because they remember everything. You know, I don't want them to be like, oh, I got this dog down in like Sierra Vista, Arizona. Like I want them to be like, got it from Bear Paw Ranch, you know,
Yeah.
have them remember. So
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
maybe they feel a little more connected to you too, like, and then like they're part of a family. I have
Yeah, I think so. Hmm.
I don't do a lot. I really want to start working on this. Like I said, I'm always trying to improve. I want to do more like follow-up communication,
Hmm.
like to have surveys that go out and just sort of follow up, touch base. How's everything going? I don't do that yet, but I do have a private Facebook page. And I wish I could do that on TikTok and Instagram because that's where a lot of the younger people are. But
Yeah.
there's a private group for everyone. It comes in my one follow-up email that I do, and they can join that
Mhm.
group and they can talk to each other. A lot of people meet up with the dogs from the same litter, or they have one parent in common or something, and
Aw, that's cool. Are most of your buyers in Maine? Would you say Maine, New Hampshire?
you know,
No.
most of my buyers are New York and Massachusetts,
Oh,
Boston.
okay. So there's still like, so you have like hubs of people with your dogs, so it's easy for them to find somebody even though it's not near
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Oh, I like
New
that.
York City, yeah. And a
Yeah.
lot of times they will take off in an area. Like I sold one on Plum Island in Massachusetts, and all of a sudden a whole bunch in Plum Island in Newburyport. Same thing with Darien, Connecticut recently, and Andover, North Andover, Mass. Like there was just lots of dogs going to those places because they meet the puppy and then
Yeah.
they want to get one from the same breeder.
Oh, that makes sense. Yep, it's perfect.
Yeah, they're out there spreading the word.
That's right. I know. Get them, put them to work, right? I think
Yeah.
those are like the best referrals too. I actually had one girl, she at her apartment had her dog and she kept him in great shape. And this guy was like, oh, where'd you get your dog? And she's like, I froze. I didn't know what to do. So I told him you. And she's like, but don't sell him a dog. You know? She's like, he's like a lunatic. He's always got his music crazy. I was like, okay, cool. Thanks
All
for letting
right.
me know. It
Well,
was
that's
funny.
nice. She
Yeah, it
called
was
you
good.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I don't. I do check references. Sometimes I'll look people up on Google Earth to see if their house is where they say it is or what they say it
Oh
is,
yeah.
or
Hmm.
especially if they're saying someone who got a puppy from me recommended that. I
Mm.
might check in with that person.
Oh,
Just
that makes sense. Sure.
yeah.
That always kind of keeps everything in balance. I think a lot of times we have really good buyers and their results are so great with our dogs
Mhm.
and their friends don't understand the work they put in because they are in the same headspace when they come to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have I don't know if you do this or not, but my dogs are always welcome to come back. In fact, it says in the contract, if you can't keep this dog,
Yeah.
it comes back to me.
Hmm.
Then, if they have a special family member that's attached to the dog and they feel like that's a good home, we can talk about that. But as a baseline policy, it's coming back to me.
Hmm.
A lot of people really like that about me. And I've
Hmm.
had two different older couples get my dogs and say, this, if anything happens to us, we want the dog to go back to you. We do not want our children to have this dog.
Oh,
We don't agree with the way they take care of their dog, and we don't want our dog taken care of like that. So I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I'll
Wow.
note there that it doesn't go to your children. Like,
Oh
okay.
gosh. Yeah. I
They're
mean,
not going to say that to their kids because they want to see the grandkids.
right. Exactly. Well, they can blame you for the
Yeah.
contract. Oh, it has to come back to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Could
It
be
is interesting.
blamable.
Mhm.
I had a puppy one time that broke its leg. This has only happened once to me
It happens.
in the whole time. I'm like, the dog was fine at 7:30. At 7:45, it had a broken leg. Like, I don't know what happened to it, but
Yeah.
broke its leg. I think it might have got its leg stuck and then trampled by other puppies or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only
They are
thing,
fragile. Hmm.
yeah. So it already had its buyers set. They were all matched with families and everything. They wanted to go ahead with it. I just kept it a little extra. Took it to the vet, got
Hmm.
its leg set and everything. And the orthopedic specialist I took it to said, this puppy's so young, this will be done in 3 weeks. It'll be healed completely. You can take this off in 3 weeks. It doesn't have to be 6 weeks like an older dog. Okay, so I keep it for a little while. It goes to them. I'm expecting and they're expecting the puppy is going to be okay in a week to have its thing taken off. Their vet believe that. She's like, it has to be 6 weeks. They were supposed to bring it in every week to get redone. And, they were very upset because their vet wasn't like listening to them. And I said, tell your vet that you need an x-ray for your breeder. Your breeder's refusing to pay for these treatments unless you send an x-ray.
Yeah.
That vet x-rayed the puppy and was like, oh yeah, it's fine. We can take all this off. But luckily they had the breeder to blame,
Yeah, I know. I tell them, use me all the time. Anything you need to do. They want to spay and neuter early, tell them your breeder will be terrible about it. There's a big fee in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There isn't,
Right.
of course, but yeah.
Or if they don't want to, if they want to wait, they could say the same thing. My breeder's forcing me to wait.
Yeah, exactly. Or I tell them, tell them I'm gonna want to use your dog for breeding later, whatever. Like just make it up. So
yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I know. Sometimes we have to tag team to get what we need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Megan, this has been so helpful. Thank you so much. So before we depart, can you tell us, or tell new breeders, what would be your advice to new breeders getting started? If you could throw in anything.
I would just say, keep on educating yourself and try to get better. Do what you can to start, get the best dog, best food, best facilities you can manage, and then just keep trying to improve it.
Yeah, I think it's so smart. Yeah.
Fun. I mean, I would not want to do this if I weren't having fun.
It should be fun.
Enjoy your dogs. Don't let it be a total job, make it be fun.
That makes sense. Yeah. All right. So if people want to learn more about you, your program, where can they find you?
Well, our website is acadiagoldendoodles.com, and it's got my phone number on there too. I'd love to have people check it out. And I'm also happy, as I said before, I love having relationships with breeders. So if anyone has any questions they'd like to talk to me about, just want to chat or want to tell me I'm wrong about something I said today, whatever, I'm happy to talk. I like learning new things and meeting new people. So.
Yeah, I think it's just amazing what you've learned in the last 17 years that you were even just able to share today. So thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me.
If you found this episode helpful, please tap that like button. It helps me better understand you and supports the channel. If you're a current or aspiring dog breeder, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel to be notified when new videos come out. Thanks.